Hey everybody, it's Jim here, and earlier this week I made a video where I sat with every single humbucker guitar and I had some tough questions, and this was one that I wanted to spend a little bit more time with, so I decided I was going to film a demo of it. This is the 77 Stork Custom. We're going to start by putting this guitar onto the bench, checking out some of the unique features and specifications about this instrument, as well as doing a full playthrough demo with the Friedman Pink Taco version 2. Before we get into that, if you enjoy the content on this channel, really it means the world to me, and it does help out a lot if you just hit the like button down below. Also, consider subscribing if you do regularly frequent this channel. That would also help me out a lot. Affiliate links are down below for anything that you may want to purchase for your music needs, although a guitar like this, you're not going to find it at a place like Tolman or Guitar Center. Let's head to the bench and get started. Alright, so this is the 77 Stork, finished in an ebony lacquer, and as you can see, the binding on this guitar has aged over time. The main thing that separates this from a typical Les Paul style instrument is that it is not a solid body construction. It is done in a way that Gibson used to do with the Cloud 9 series. They made CR9, CR8, CR7s, and I believe a few other ones as well. But what that basically translates to is there is a piece of wood right here that holds all the hardware and the pickups like this, but then circularly it is all hollowed out. The guitar acoustically resonates really well, and it also adds this kind of like honky sound almost when you're plugged in. It's really cool. This is a super alive guitar. As far as other little things that are worth going over here, you do have the 77 house brand pickups on this particular model, and you do have Goto high quality hardware, typical standard layout as far as the volumes, the tones, and the three-way toggle switch, which we will flip over to check out the quality of these in just a second. And once again, 77 are a company that do not compromise. You do have CTS pots and Tone Factory caps. The wiring is all super clean. The soldering jobs are perfect on it. And yeah, I could fit my hand all the way in there. If I had smaller hands, we could go all the way in, just proving that it really is hollowed out on the inside. It's worth noting that this model is also available in both a jazz form with different aesthetics and a little bit of a different neck carve, as well as with the F-holes visible on it. I prefer this look as apparent by my choice with the Gibson ES Les Paul that I own that also does not have F-holes. This guitar has a bound neck on an ebony fretboard. You do have your block inlays on it. The Jesk are equivalent to medium jumbo frets, and no nibs, which is interesting because most Gibson Les Pauls, even though this is not a Gibson, will have nibs, and I only bring it up because one of the only Gibsons I can think of that does not have nibs is the ES Les Paul, so I guess it kind of makes sense there. I'm going to go ahead and take the strings off and we'll get some neck measurements. 0.92 at the first, 1.01 at the 12th. As far as the actual thickness, at the first fret, the width of it is 1.71, and at the 12th, 2.07. And finally, at the headstock, I do have a fun fact I'd like to share with you guys after I give you some of the basic specs and parts. You do have a high quality bone nut here. You have your truss rod cover here, which is uniquely shaped. High quality Goto tuners, the 77 logo, and then inside of the diamond since 1977. This is your interesting fact because the 77 brand in name is not from 1977. Headway guitars, which are primarily acoustic instruments, that's when that company was born out of the Oscar factory by Mr. Momose himself, amongst others. And so the brand 77 is paying homage to their beginnings of that. And I think that that is super cool. Flipping it onto the back real quick here. This guitar also has a volute to help with some of the strength of the neck itself, and then typical serial number, nothing too fancy there. All right, before I can get into the sound samples here, obviously I gotta restring this guitar, but I'm gonna take the time to polish this frets and get this thing in as perfect a playing condition that I possibly can, and then we will hear it in action. We're going to be using the Friedman Pink Taco version 2, maybe a splash of the Tone King Gremlin mixed in with it for some more classic kind of tones. Drive will be provided by the Benson preamp or from the Friedman, you will know on the screen. The reverb will be universal regardless of which amp I end up using for this demo. It will be from the Strymon Volante. Mic it all up with the SM57 straight into the Universal Audio Apollo interface. And we'll see how it goes. first thing I would like to hit on are the sounds of this instrument, and really these pickups, because these are the same exact pickups that came in the X Roboto Standard 2 that I previously had, and I didn't think that they were a great match for that guitar. However, in this guitar, I see absolutely no reason to swap them out. They clean up really, really well. There's so much note definition, and when I was manipulating the volume knob during several of the playing examples, you can hear it really maintains a lot of clarity, and that's something that is a mark of a very good guitar pickup. Playability wise, this does have a big neck on it, but I have to say, I was playing it with the house setup that I was sent to from Japan. After putting on my own preferred set of strings and setting this guitar up just a little bit tweaked to my likings, this is so much better, and it was already really good as it is, but it just goes to show putting the time in and having your guitar properly set up, if you're capable of doing it on your own, bring it to somebody if you're not, really does make a gigantic difference with your experience. The weight of this guitar, now this is under 8 pounds, but unlike the ES Les Paul, this is going to sound strange, this still feels like a real Les Paul, and the fact that despite the fact that it is so weight relieved on the inside of it, there's a great balance to it, but it feels significant in my hands. Whereas the ES Les Paul is amazing, and I'm not trying to say anything bad about that guitar. That reminds me more of a lighter Telecaster and or even a Fender Mustang when I'm sitting and playing with it. So getting down the brass tacks here, having put in the time to properly set this guitar up to my own liking and really getting a feel for it and playing it more. I've played it a lot since that initial video I did earlier in the week. I have to say, this is an absolute keeper. Sound-wise, it does somewhat remind me of another guitar that I do have. That's the Gibson ES335, not the ES Les Paul. I think that these are extremely different guitars from each other. I'm pointing it the wrong way, but point still stands. This thing plays great. The neck is big. It's very inspiring, and it's an awesome, high-quality, handmade instrument that I don't want to part with. If you're interested in one of these guitars, though, I do know that 2, as of the time of filming this guitar, are available. One of them is in the black, just like this one. That guitar is on eBay. I don't have any affiliation with the seller, nor have I ever purchased anything from them, but I did see it was up there. I think it's $2,200 and change, which honestly, that's about what these things should go for used. However, if you're into the wine red aesthetic on a Les Paul custom style guitar, there's one for sale at Takumi's shop on Reverb, $1,400 plus shipping and taxes. So it's going to be about $600 less than the one that I just mentioned on eBay. Very, very good deal indeed. That's all I have for you guys today. I know that we did not do the demo of the red JV Stratocaster. If you made it this far and you're thinking, well, that one won the poll, why didn't you do that? We're going to do that next week because next Tuesday, I'm going to sit with all of the single coil guitars I have and do the same exact routine, playing them all back to back and potentially listing a few up for sale that are either redundant or that I don't love or need. Thank you for watching this video. Again, if you haven't already, please consider hitting the like and the subscribe button. If you do enjoy this, have a great day. Tell somebody in your family that you love, that you do love them, play your guitars, and get outside. Get off the internet. This place is evil. Take it easy, everybody.